Alrighty, we got our goofy ass tier list
That was fucking
in the
horrible.
making.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're making a tier list. That's about it. I think the biggest problem is that like 90% of the shit I see on YouTube just makes no fucking sense. Like as we said earlier, like I swear no one knows how anything works in this video game. I think
Yep.
the biggest problem is like if I go through YouTube Shorts, if I go through YouTube in general, I feel like no one knows what they're talking about. It's it's pretty awful. It's like certain things I agree with. I'm not saying everyone's wrong, but certain things I definitely agree with. You know, like obvious picks such as safer spaces, which safer spaces for let's be real, the most part at lower stacks is just inherently better because it's a guarantee one shot protection. And with a few stacks, you can get it to where it has a very short cooldown. But you know, I can understand an argument saying where it's better or on par with normal teddy bear because obviously you have a guarantee protection rather than a uh, a chance. But then I see like shit where let's see, some people try to argue like the dumbest shit, like saying I
Needle
don't know.
tick being completely superior to the bleed.
Yes, I've seen that. I'm sorry, needle
But
tick is
yeah,
pretty good.
so here's one thing. To negate all the confusion, we're going to be making a tier list that is actually not based off of how good the item is in the game.
Okay,
So it's going to really help all of
whoa.
you.
Okay, whoa. How is this gonna be specified? Because you so from what we were talking about earlier, you were saying it's like based off of characters in general. So it's gonna be
No, what
like
it is, it's based off of fundamental things that the item contributes. So, for instance, what you would be very happy to pick up on almost every character
so okay.
is
So
what this
that's
is
what I was
based off
saying.
of, but not exactly the efficiency of it, is the one thing. So, for instance, about concepts. So, one thing, movement speed is always a fundamental for basically every character. So is survivability, in general, healing, crit to a degree, but one thing is that the criteria is basically going to be going off of how well the item helps you across generally all characters. There will be exceptions, and that would be factored into the tier criteria. But another thing is what are the requirements? Number one. Less so the stats. The stats are not really going to be factored in too much aside from duration. However, some of the major factors are going to be criteria, how well it distributes across characters, and generally if it relies on other items as well.
No
Because
matter
an item
what.
that relies on other items is not going to be has factored as high on this tier list, even if the item is very good. So, for instance, here's an example. Leeching Seed. This is one thing that's going to be discussed later on, obviously, but Leeching Seed generally does not help many people. Now, it's a good item, basically mid tier, if I had to say. But one thing is that
Good item. I don't know about that.
yeah, but regardless, main thing is it's just with it. It has a thing where on hit is basically something you're always going to be doing, so it's basically just a non-factor, and it's giving healing, which contributes to it. Even though the stat is not that high, basically it has a very low criteria, therefore pushing it up, and also a very decent effect, conceptually at least, that's pushing it up as well. So it's generally just based off of those things, what it contributes, and generally how fundamental it is to the game. So let's go ahead and start with the very basic item on here. Just go from the start down. One thing is that lunar items are not going to be factored in here, as well as equipment items, just because lunar items fundamentally change how the game works, and they're not really going to be a good criteria for fundamentals.
That's
And
that's
equipment items
so
are
amazing. Hold
basically
on.
just whatever you
I
want.
need to get my four gestures. I need to get my fucking tonic. I need to win the video game.
Indeed.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I guess it's just gonna go from armor repulsion plate and then to the right.
Yep. So one thing, armor repulsion plate, the criteria for it is technically just always there.
Oh
Now, the
yeah,
one
it's
thing
front
is it
loaded.
indeed, but the main thing is what the criteria technically is that you get hit, and it reduces that damage by 5. In a sense, it's basically very good against anything that's fast ticking, like Clay Templars with their
Yeah, because it affects status
miniguns. Is
effects such as bleeding and being on fire as well as just raw
yep.
damage.
It's just in general a very decent item, and not factoring in the actual number, it's
Yeah.
basically a more or less just a complete buff towards anything that's damage over time or fast ticking effects.
Well,
And it
it's
scales
not a
very.
weapon
And one
skill
thing is the
mod.
scaling, right? And the scaling with other items, especially medkit or other items that heal you based off of the damage dealt or on hit, it just really helps with those effects. Generally, I'd probably place it just right off the bat,
I
at
would
least an A or A plus.
really.
I don't.
I
I
mean,
think that
okay,
just due to the way that
I
it works, it's
only.
not it's not based off of how good the item
Okay, no,
is.
no, 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 no.
It's
Okay,
based off of how it interacts with other things.
I understand that, but we're also taking consideration in an item. I understand it's not how completely good the item is, but this item gives 5 armor, and it's like you would have to stack a good amount to get like a decent effect because if you
That's one thing is I'm not factoring in the actual stat. I'm basing it off of the concept of it, the fundamental of how it works. It's based off of the fundamental contribution of the item.
yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Um, why would you put it in A though?
Main reason why I put it in A is because of the way that number one with criteria, it's something that okay, let me put this into perspective for it. So things that require you to get hit, if it has an effect that directly helps with getting hit, that's just a straight bonus. But then again, let's talk about something like Roll of Pennies. It requires you to get hit for an effect completely unrelated to what you're doing. So it has an effect that's directly contributing towards what you're doing already, which is good. But number one, it's basically what this is as a concept. It is a direct buffer against damage over time effects. And I think that just
Okay,
generally due to it, it won't be just something as moderate as this thing gives you more damage sometimes.
okay,
I think that
I
it
see
should
what
be
you're
an A
saying.
tier.
I see what you mean because of everything it does. Okay, okay, I agree. I think A tier is good. I don't think it's A plus, but I do agree with A tier. I think A. Also, before we continue, do we want to? Are we generalizing the categories or are we lining them up? For example, if I were to just pull out teddy bear here and put it here, would this say that armor has more use than teddy bear? Like, does the order matter in categories, or we're not ordering them?
I'm not going to order them. Just go
Okay.
ahead and put them in the tier
Okay. Yeah.
tier
Yeah. I was just
itself.
wondering if we're generalizing items or we're actually just
No, I think I just it would be way too complicated for me. My peanut brain would explode.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Mocha. I'm not going to elaborate before this. This is going straight into S tier. It is
Yeah.
a complete. It is a complete thing to the two
Most important stats in the
debatably best.
game.
Yeah, debatably best stats in the game:
Wait,
movement speed and attack speed. It is
yeah.
a combination of those two, and in general, it is basically a buffer item. I'm really glad they added it because this is one of the things about
Item bloat.
fundamentals.
Item bloat. Item bloat. Item
Yep,
bloat.
is this is basically just what could you remove from the game? In a sense, this is almost what it is. What could you remove from the game without it actually affecting it too much?
I.
And not talking about specific characters, but in general, this is one of the things that it would talk about.
I fucking hate the amount of item bloat that is in the game. I don't think it's like overbearing, but you can feel it. I mean, it's pretty like obnoxious to try and get certain things down because I remember early Risk of Rain. Every item I can realistically get, um, very easily. Maybe the bloat isn't too bad, and I'm just exaggerating, but it just feels a little different. Like I definitely feel like I can get every item if I wanted to, but I do feel a bit of bloat.
Right, because there's some runs where originally, if you didn't get a soldier syringe by like by like stage 3, you were like absolutely shitting your pants. But now it's like oftentimes you can go 4 stages, maybe even a full loop, and you just never even see a soldier syringe. And I
Yeah,
understand that's just chance, but it's still just a lot less common than it was back then for some of the essential fundamental items.
yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of like the ones added, like antlers, pennies, or a lot of bloat items that have very little use. Like, I I don't know. They just don't really do much. I think I would get more use out of like fucking gargling cum and then spitting it at the enemies than using these items. It's pretty fucking bad sometimes. But besides that, Mocha is just overall
Yeah,
fucking
okay,
solid.
I will say, actually, I think that it probably is best to simplify what I was saying earlier. This is more or less a tier list of what you would need in the game and what could technically be removed without affecting most characters. Basically, this is almost like a bloat tier list in a sense, like what's just essential to the game.
Hold up. So right.
Even if the weapon or the item itself is not very good on its own.
Okay, well we have 5 trillion items to go through. So
Yep, okay.
okay.
So, Topaz Brooch.
I
Barrier is a very important thing, and on kill is one of the most easy effects to get. On kill is basically just something you are constantly going to be doing in the game, so therefore you're just going to be constantly generating barrier.
not to yeah, um I also think it's like how fast you can do that. But I agree. I think it's important, obviously, even though I think Topaz gets a lot of its benefits later down the line. But yeah, overall, I think it. Yeah, I think it goes in like right next to
I
armor
think it would
plate.
go in the same tier as armor plate as well.
I don't see any other reason. It's just kind of armor plate's weird brother. Um,
And again, it scales with basically every character to the same
yeah, it's
degree.
just killing, and then
And one thing
each stack of it gives more.
I will say with Mocha, one thing that I will say is that attack speed does not scale the same with every character. And that is one thing that will be talked about. I think attack speed is still one of the most fundamental things of the game. But some characters are not as reliant on attack speed as others. Now, it still affects every character to a decent degree. It makes their charge up times for things like, Artificer's abilities and how well they attack during the durations, like Mercenary's Eviscerate or the Flamethrower. But in general, there are some characters who do not use attack speed to the same degree as others. But it's still going to be considered a useful thing across all characters.
Alright.
And going into tri-tips is going to open up a new
Tri-dick
topic.
daggers. I love tri-dick daggers.
Do not put that in S tier. So one thing that's going to be put in is, again, how well it distributes across all characters. Just leave it
It's
in the
definitely
blank
an
for now.
A or B.
I would not consider it an A tier, and
I would
here's
too.
one reason why. The main reason this is something that's very important is there's something across items that scale off of base damage and total damage. Base damage is a flat rate that basically will scale the same across all characters if they attacked at the same exact proc coefficient and speed. And one thing is that total damage items, which we'll get into later, those will include things like ATG, sticky bombs, those are scaled off of the actual attack itself. So, for instance, a sticky bomb on commando will basically give a flat 9% damage increase, always, like a single flat sticky bomb. Always, and so will the average if you use it on Railgunner and hit a headshot, because the main thing is that you are always getting it based off of the attack itself. So characters like Loader, Railgunner, and other things like that will always get the same average attack increase with things that scale off of total damage. So it's why one reason I'll put tri-tips just as a concept due to them being only decent on characters that attack at a fast rate and have a high proc coefficient, I would honestly say that it's just a flat damage item. I'd even argue that it's at the lower end of B for this tier list.
My fucking baby brain hurts. God damn. It good on character that shoot fast, proc fast. Very, very cool. But some character, they shoot slow, do big damage. Not very good.
Amazing summary.
Hold up, guys. I literally
Condemn it to
fucking
C tier.
summarized it. It was so fucking easy. But wait, you're saying C tier?
It's not about the effects, the efficacy of the item, is all.
You're just
Again,
you're also in.
I'm arguing about the. Yes, I'm arguing about how it spreads across
And
the
also,
characters
you
in
have to
general.
build up a lot of them to even get like a reliable effect.
Correct.
So when
It's why I think that it's not necessarily one of the fundamental items
no,
to that degree.
fundamental, no.
And not only that, there's another thing to go off of. It cannot start proc chains. Bleed does not have a proc coefficient, unlike a lot of other on-hit proc items. So one thing is that it's not going to be in the same degree as those. So I honestly think C tier is probably where it should go.
I agree. Teddy bear.
C tier on no. That's okay. Teddy bear should honestly just go into A tier just due to how good of an effect that it is on hit. It is just a flat average damage reduction.
Of not getting hurt. Hold up. And the more I stack, the more chances I have to just never get a boo-boo.
But yeah, no, it's just a very decent effect. Not much needs to really go into it. It's just
Yeah, you
a
just
very
have to-
simple item, and it's just flatly reduces the amount of damage you take. In fact, I'd honestly argue for that might even be A plus just due to how good of an effect it is.
I mean, I know we're not going off stats, but you do have to stack it pretty high to make it reliable.
One thing is that stacks are not going to be factored in as much in this as it is the concept of it.
I agree, but you also have to take in consideration Mocha is instantly in effect at all times. And the problem is that you're comparing an item that has a constant effect that will never diminish or change to an item that has a chance. I understand that the item itself is very good, its effect, but it's still you're talking about a on constant something that's going to constantly affect the run to a chance. There has to be something between them.
I'd put it at the very top of A tier at least.
I agree.
If we were ordering it.
I just don't think A plus. I just don't think A plus.
I can see that.
I just don't think that because it's like there's a chance to it. That's the only problem I have with it. Is I agree with you on everything, but there's a difference between a constant effect. That's why I would put armor repulsion plate above barrier, because like armor repulsion plate, like if you're in a situation where you have to run, like no matter what, it's gonna affect something. As barrier, you need to keep killing to keep it up, and it drains. Like I know it's not a completely stat. You know this item's better than the other, but there has to be, you know, something to that because it is gonna affect your run, no matter what. That you're relying on a chance rather than a static thing.
Okay. I think I'll take that. Now, AP rounds. AP rounds only boost your damage against specifically teleporter bosses and just anything that has a basically red health bar. But it's just so specific, and it's only I know that it might sound stupid, but it's just a flat damage boost against only one kind of character. It doesn't really one kind of enemy, and it just doesn't scale well across the course of the run. Now, I'd say that scaling is wrong. It's a good item overall, but just fundamentally, it could be removed from the game, and not much would change.
Yeah.
It is an easy D tier,
Yep,
just due to
I
this,
mean-
even if it's a very good item.
Continue.
Now,
Hold
crit
on.
glasses.
Wait a minute. I really like crit glasses.
Now, one thing, again, even though this is technically just a damage boost, the thing is not about it being a damage boost, but how it interacts with other items. Crit affects things such as Harvester's Scythe, predatory instincts, laser scope,
Oh,
and it also can chain across multiple procs.
oh.
That's why, in general, it's just a very good item and should go at A plus tier at the very least.
Let's go. Guys, I love my
I don't know if
Yaps.
you have any objections though.
No.
All right, homie's just absolutely fiending for those glasses.
Alright, crowbar, crowbar. Well,
So this is a damage boost, and at the very start of an enemy's health bar. It's good on burst
first
damage
10%.
characters. Yes, it's good on burst damage characters, less so on characters that do not do burst damage. I honestly, while it affects all enemies, I have to say that just due to the fact it distributes very okay against other characters, I'll say that the only thing that will prevent it from going into D tier along with AP rounds is the fact that there's just minor enemies and your procs will blow up smaller enemies with the help of
I
crowbar
think it's
instead of leaving them to die. I think that it is C tier.
I I think yeah. I think I can agree with that. Yeah, I really don't have much to say about crowbar to be honest. Um,
And in general, I'd say that it's just due to the fact that without much items that it would need, again, this is one thing about the reliance on other items. Crowbars is technically reliant on other items to be useful with most characters. Like, loader, railgunner, crowbar is amazing basically all the time, but on most characters you need ATGs or some other form of damage in order
that's
to
true.
get a lot of
ESCs as
efficiency
well.
out of it.
If you're fighting
Mhm.
later in the game. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Warped Echo. This thing that I hate. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't hate my warped echo. It makes my boo boos hurt less.
Warped Echo. So what it does, it distributes whatever hit you took across 3 stacking different hits. Basically divides your damage into separate ticks.
Yep.
Now it does interact with one-shot protection, so
The stacks.
mhm. So if it does interact with one-shot protection, so for instance, if you take 90% of your health with WOSP, it will, take that 90%, cap it, and then chunk it down with however many stacks you have of Warped Echo. Now, with it, it helps you a lot, generally with harder hitting attacks. However, I generally don't think that it's a necessary, like at any point, is it a fundamental to the game.
It's very fundamental.
It can help you a
to
lot, but
Transcendence. It's very nice that you don't get the heal ever.
we don't talk about that.
We do.
But again, Transcendence and other lunar items are completely out of the equation for this tier list. If I had to say, top of C tier would be my opinion, but you use this more than I do. So I'll let you give your review on it.
I mean, if we're only including health, I mean, it's gonna help no matter what. I think it has more of a use in the early games to keep you alive. I think personally, it's going bottom of B tier.
Okay.
I don't think it's C tier because of how useful it could be, especially with characters without movement.
Right. It also reduces that source of damage, like whatever you took, by 20%.
Exactly.
So,
It's gonna, especially if you're playing mercenary or someone with high movement speed at the start, it's not gonna be that useful to be fair. But any other character, like I mean, either way, you're gonna get use out of it if you get hit. But any other character, that doesn't have crazy movement speed, so Rex, Bandit does have invisibility, but not really fast. Cap, those characters, even Engineer, like they're not gonna have a ton of movement speed to be able to get out of things. They're gonna get hit a lot, and without movement speed, and it has nothing to do with a skill issue. It's just some enemies are gonna be, you know, faster than you are gonna be able to hit you no matter what. I'm not including Eclipse 8 or anything like that. Eclipse 8, that's a very different story, but we're just talking about like I would say this list is probably we probably want to specify is probably mostly centered around just the normal game,
right.
rather than Eclipse. I I'm not specifying any difficulty we play on Monsoon, obviously, but this would go for any of the 3 normal difficulties.
Right.
Okay, continuing
Now,
on. Oh, hold up.
next in line, fireworks. The requirement being opening chest. Yes,
I
yes, of
love
course.
fireworks. Hold up. I like when I get 12 stacks of fireworks, I open a chest, and I win the stage. I mean, when 5 bazillion fucking fireworks crash my game because I have 20 billion stacks, and the boss just gets hit with the wrath of God because I wanted to open up the loot box and get the golden scar. It's just peak. No. But yeah.
Honestly, so it's in a sense, it's basically like just having a 300% rapid primary fire for a short amount of time. Whenever you interact with something like a Shrine of Chance, chest, openable, whatever. But the thing is, it's just generally based off of fundamentals. It's not really ever changing the game or how you're playing, unless you do a very specific build. I
S
would agree with the
plus
D tier.
plus. Yeah, it's D tier. Uh, hold up. The best item in the game, 25 health. It's so useful.
Honestly, I'm thinking just with this, just due to the fact that they're fundamentally the same, I'm thinking we might as well just put transfusion the same tier that we do with fresh meat. So, with fresh meat, definitely not an F, but
No, no,
still
I have them together so they could be friends.
makes sense. So generally, with the way that these work, max health is very finicky in this game. It will help you in a lot of cases, but it's never going to really be a game changer unless you're playing a
Unless you have
character
armor.
that right, unless you have armor or if you're
Defense before
doing
health.
something with right, and it just has a very specific interaction with false sun, obviously, but this
Oh
is
god.
one character is not going to
False
be defining
sun
this tier list.
would be S, it would
But
be
generally, your use case is just more survivability while you're already taking damage. The one thing is, if you have a small health pool, there are a lot of cases where you're better off maximizing your one-shot protection, just trying to be evasive. And stacking max health on characters like that can actually be sometimes a detriment if your healing is not fast enough to fully regain your health bar towards the OSP. So in general, I'd put these probably about a C tier and bottom of C tier at that.
I literally have nothing to say about that because that is
D tier. I was gonna say C tier, but
Oh, I forgot.
I'd put them. I'd put them above. Yeah, I'd put them above AP rounds and fireworks at the very least.
So do you think C or D?
C, bottom of C tier.
Alright. My favorite thing in the game, I love when I get this item and it fucking explodes the first 3 seconds I obtain it because I get hit and then I cry about it and I have to look at the stupid thing in my inventory.
This is the only item along with Power Elixir that has a negative requirement.
Oh, oh,
And
oh.
the main thing is that you cannot use your one-shot protection, in a sense, when you have this item. And that restricts the gameplay again. You could say, oh, skill issue, but
Hold
the
up,
entire point
guys.
is
My
that
cock ring broke. I'm too strong. I got a boo boo and it just snapped off.
the main thing is with these items, Delicate Watch along with Power Elixir, I understand that the Power Elixir works as a shield somewhat for the Delicate Watch, but the fact that these items break is just another thing that should be
Makes it
factored
shit.
into the equation.
Literally makes it shit. That's what he's trying to say. These items are doo doo. Me, when I get my funny item that was gonna make me do the run, and then it breaks, and then I'm poor.
In general, I honestly, I'd say this is our first F tier. F tier.
Yeah, I've already pre-put it there. I already knew. I saw the future. I'm fucking
And
Flash Man.
even though healing is good, and the fact that you're technically just getting a free like quick revive, just due to the fact that it breaks, I'd say that unlike Dio's best friend,
Yeah,
it,
literally. Yeah.
the issue is that it takes precedent over your one-shot protection, which you'll be using your one-shot protection far more than you will die. So in general, I'm just gonna have to give that an F tier as well. Who are you yelling at? Alright, chat, he's speaking to the voices in his head.
I think I had that part muted, so they didn't hear me.
Nope.
But no, no, no. Of course you can hear it. I'm talking through Discord. I meant on the.
Don't worry about it.
I had to give Jay his phone back. That was it. It was very cool.
Alrighty. Well, roll of pennies. So just going off of the requirement, getting hit. So that requirement is fine when it's a healing item or something like that, but the main thing is you're getting gold out of getting hit. And while gold basically can accelerate the course of how fast you clear a stage, it also becomes very useless very quick after, say, stage 5. Oh, what's up, Jay? We're making a tier list. Don't make a new tier for it. But no, roll of pennies just generally due to the requirements and the fact that to clear a stage faster, you have to get injured. I'd say it's going to be down there probably with Delicate Watch and and the others, just due to the fact that
I mean, when I get 3 fucking pennies every time I lose my limbs. Hold up, let me become a Vietnam vet to get 3 fucking pennies. That's literally real life. Never mind.
That's actually what
That's
happens.
actually real life. Hold up. Hold up, guys. I gotta get paid a salary of 3 doubloons a year for getting my limbs blowed off. Hold up. It's actually just real life. I can't even be mad at it anymore.
Okay, so factoring in what it gives, health regeneration when you're out of and the requirement is being out of combat. And by out of combat, it means not taking damage. You can still deal damage unlike the accursed red whip. I'd say that just due to the fact that it's giving a passive health regeneration, on its own, passive health regeneration would easily be A+ tier. The only requirement being not getting hit, I'd say would only bring it down 1 tier. I'd say that Cautious Slug as a fundamental concept is an A tier.
An A tier. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I could see it, yeah. Just run out of combat and immediately heal. Helps for the early game when you're...
Well, the thing is, it's not only running out of combat, it's just not getting hit. You can still fire.
Yeah,
now,
wording's weird.
Going on to the meta of this tier list, Goat Hoof, just a flat movement speed increase. It is...
Nothing else to be said. Literally nothing else to be said. We're done with Goat Hoof. It's good. It makes you go room, you win the game. That's literally nothing you need to say. Asaline. This shit comes out of my ass.
On kill, basically a constant effect, and what it does is that it provides AoE and tick damage. Now, I do need to actually check and make sure. Do you remember if Gasoline has a proc coefficient on the initial burst?
You mean on kill?
No, the initial burst of Gasoline, I understand the ignite effect doesn't have a proc coefficient, but the initial burst, does that have a proc coefficient?
The initial burst? What do you mean by that? You mean
when it spreads, when it ignites the enemies, does that have a proc coefficient to it?
No, I didn't think so. I thought it was just the explosion. I could be wrong on that. Yeah, do check that before we continue because yeah.
Okay, looking through it. No, it does not. Okay, just making sure of that. No, it does not have any of that, so it doesn't chain any procs. However, what I'll say is that on kill is just a constant effect, and it's an AoE tick damage that also supplies a debuff. And due to the fact that Ignition Tank is something that can support it later on, I'd say that just due to how fundamentally good it is in that regard, even though it's base damage, I'd say that it goes to A tier as a damage item.
What does? The chronic?
Gasoline. Gasoline.
No, I was about to say. A tier?
No, yeah, A tier. And one thing, I'd say that just due to the fact that it's so similar, go ahead and get Will the Wisp for this. We might as well group them together. Go ahead and... It does the same thing except for one regard, in the fact that it doesn't apply a debuff for Deathmark. Now, the only reason why, even though I don't want to consider stats too heavily in this, the damage is such a significant difference that I think they're both, as a fundamental, side grades. They're both an AoE damage thing on kill.
Man, you could put them together.
Indeed.
Very
Now,
cool.
chronic expansion. Chronic expansion is a flat damage increase that has a fairly decent duration, and the duration refreshes on hit.
On
It
kill.
doesn't actually require. No,
It's
the
on hit.
duration. Yes, the stack increases on kill, but the duration increases on hit, or the duration
Oh,
resets on hit. So
I didn't know
as
that.
long as you are constantly attacking, you can keep the stack up almost permanently.
That makes a
And
lot more
in
sense.
general, even though it doesn't have any specific effect, like just going to the degree of crit glasses,
Damage is damage.
I'd say that damage is damage, and the fact that you can keep it up so consistently in combat, I'd say it's at the top of A tier.
I actually wholeheartedly agree with that. Um,
Even though I personally don't feel myself getting value out of chronic expansion to the degree that I feel it I would, I think that as a fundamental concept, it is top of A tier.
hmm.
Now, bolstering lantern. This is an item that it's an attack speed item, so that would be great, but the requirement is being close to enemies,
Hold
and
up.
obviously allies at the same degree.
I could just
The
replace
issue
my
is what
shield
this
with a
does,
lance.
and they fly in a
Oh,
radius.
yeah, I know. It sucks.
And, maybe at that point, bolstering lantern with the new update coming soon, that it has some better effect, but as for now, I wouldn't put it anywhere. Honestly, due to the requirement, number one, it only works on characters, or only effectively works on characters that are melee, and number two, only increases attack speed, one that is a bit finicky with those characters in the first place, such as Loader. I put it at C tier, off of fundamentals. Even though attack speed is such a good thing,
Yeah,
I think that
I think
doesn't
it's
work
just
too well with this.
unreliable. Is the correct thing.
Unreliable for most characters. Obviously, it's very good with Mercenary and False Sun, but
But you're
it's
thinking
this is a
first
tier list
person
about
shooter.
all characters.
Hold up. Railgunner's gonna get very good use out of this. Huntress is gonna get very good use.
Medkit. Now, Medkit is just a complete rejuvenation of whatever damage you took. It works well with armor. It stacks well with anything that does healing. I'd honestly put it just due to how effective it is at a constant source of healing that it's going to be an A plus tier.
Yeah.
Do you have any arguments with that?
What's the time limit on it again? I can't remember off the top of my head.
The time limit on Medkit, from what I remember, it's 2 seconds, I believe.
Oh, fuck
Now,
it. That's
the thing is, it also works very well with anything that's a tick damage, because it heals for a flat amount, I think 20, but also heals for a percentage of your max health after that. And the scaling of it is based off that max health, so you can get more return, but when taking tick damage, than you do from the initial hit, which is why it scales so well with armor. So it's definitely going to be A plus tier, in my opinion.
let me
Now,
do a little quick.
the Bungus.
Hold up, the best item in the game.
So, healing while you're standing still. That requirement is amazing on Engineer if you use his correct turrets. However, the issue is that the only use you're getting out of the Bungus when you're not playing as those characters is if you're retreating and standing perfectly still in a corner. Now, that's a use, and it is helpful when you don't have any other healing items. But due to the fact that it's just so unreliable on most of the characters, I'd have to put it at the bottom of D tier.
Actually,
I think it's worse than Delicate Watch, in my opinion.
Well, this is based off of the fundamental concept, the fact that Delicate Watch has basically a negative requirement of having to not, meet your one-shot protection, as well as the factor that it breaks afterwards. I'd have to put the Bungus higher than that.
I'm sorry, but I felt like I just gave Jay life because he sat here, didn't say a fucking thing. And then in the fucking editor thing, I made it to where Jay had his name over him. I put a name over all of us so you could see the name. And so I just put Jay over him and he just starts talking. It's like I just the little puppet, the little puppeteer going on here.
Also,
Yeah.
I will say, I think that we misranked Roll of Pennies. I'm gonna just put it at the bottom of D tier. It doesn't meet the same shit level that the Delicate Watch and Power
I guess
Elixir have, where it literally
I
breaks.
guess it's always. Does roll of pennies also work on tick damage, such as fire? I can't.
Yes, it does work on tick damage. That's one reason why it can be okay. I'd say that it's possibly a bit too harsh to treat it all the way in the same tier as the others.
I fucking hate roll of pennies, but I don't really have an argument against.
Again, it's based off of conceptual thing too. Now, going off of this, Focus Crystal, due to the fact it's a melee item, I will put it in the exact same area. Well, no, I'd put it one tier higher than Bolstering Lantern. Because flat damage is flat damage, comparable to the attack speed increase of the Bolstering Lantern.
I did put it above bolstering lantern.
Alright. Well, again, basically only good on melee characters. You can get use out of it, obviously by staying close to other characters that get or enemies that get close to you, but
Cap and fucking Bandit, you can just chunk.
that is true. It also increases the damage of ticking procs while you're in the range too.
Yep.
Is one thing to factor in. Which obviously you don't get that same benefit with Bolstering Lantern, which you have to be in the range during the fire of it. Opal. It is probably not going to go into A tier. It's probably going to, or A plus. It's probably not going to go to A plus. But I'd say bottom of A tier would be good. Just it basically is a free flat minus 100 damage from your next hit, and obviously stacking from that. And in most cases, I'd say that in most cases it's better than just having max health to a far degree. Because of the fact that it's just such a large chunk of armor that you get straight off the bat within the time frame.
100 damage. You mean 100 armor? You said.
Well, armor's flat reduction. It's a flat 100 damage reduction to your next attack.
Yeah, but it gives you 100 armor.
Only to one hit. Only to one hit.
Only to one hit, which would be 50% damage resist.
No, it isn't. Armor is flat. Armor is not a percent damage reduction, Zip. Armor is a flat value.
Yeah, but it adds a percentage per armor. So.
No, it does not. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's literally just as if you have 100 fake health.
But I'm looking at the fucking thing right here. It literally armor stacks and gives you a damage reduction. What are you talking about?
Okay, damage. Oh wait, hold on. Damage taken from this.
What are you talking about? It's.
I was thinking of the. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of enemy armor. Enemy armor functions differently. My bad.
Thank God I'm here. Yeah, I was about to say, homie was telling me armor does not give you damage reduction. What are you talking about?
Okay. The main thing is I was thinking of repulsion armor plate and assumed that it worked the same way. That.
No.
Yeah, that's my bad.
It's literally.
No, okay, no, it does not work in the same way. My bad on that.
Yep.
I was thinking it worked in the same way as repulsion armor plate.
Well,
all right.
Armor plate
is not armor. Yeah, it isn't armor actually. You were correct. No, repulsion armor plate is not armor actually.
What do you mean? It gives you 5 armor.
No, it doesn't.
What do you mean it doesn't?
All it does is reduce all damage taken by 5. It does not actually affect your armor stat. That's why I was confused. We had our items like mixed up for some reason.
We're fucking stupid. Yeah.
No, okay. Anyway.
Because opal is considered armor.
Right. Opal is considered armor. Armor repulsion plate is not considered armor. Ironically.
Yeah.
So anyway, we fucked up the tier list already. Thankfully.
Well, this is so peak. We correct our mistakes though. That's why there's 2 of us.
There's 3, but Jay doesn't exist.
What?
Oh, real.
Wait,
okay.
What happened?
Going to shield generator.
Wait, what?
You're so right.
Moving on to shield generator. This takes the worst aspects of things such as infusion and fresh meat as a concept and multiplies them. It gives you basically an 8% increase to your health, but one thing is that it does not scale in the same way that your healing does. So if you have a good sufficient healing, having 2 stacks of just shield generator can completely nullify your one-shot protection no matter how good your healing is if you take damage. And not only that, having just 1 stack can make it to where tick damage from the rest of it is easily going to be enough to finish you off. Overall, it doesn't even work
Dog
well with
shit,
Transcendence.
Dog shit. It is dog shit. It is doo doo. It is a really bad item. It's one of the worst items in the game, if not the worst.
The only positive interaction it has is with Plasma Shrimp, and at the same time, it has its own issues even then. It is still at F tier. Okay, we get our white scrap, S tier, S plus, S billion. Okay.
I mean, it's just free item, no matter what. There's really nothing you can say about it. Hold up. Let me just literally move up all the scrap real quick, because they all do the same fucking thing. It's just free items, so it could be anything you want it to be.
Wait. Please do it in order.
What? It is
Swear to
in order.
God.
Talking about in order. He's talking about
This
ranking them from like
This isn't in order.
the.
Thank you.
Well, okay. Well,
Wait,
no,
what?
going
Wait,
going
yeah.
off of it. Going off of it, actually, green scrap is generally going to be the most valuable. So actually, put green scrap at the highest tier. And put. I think that yeah, no, that's about right actually in terms of scrap value. Because going off of the lunar portals, you can use green scrap to such a good degree with a free red.
No,
If
but
you
yellow
get 5.
scrap is worse than red scrap.
I don't know about that because yellow
Yellow
3D
is
printers
better.
are so
But
much more
most
common.
yellow items are like dookie poo poo, whereas most red items are good.
Oh, Jay does have a point.
That
And
I mean,
when are you
literally
ever
have,
gonna
like-
get a shatter spleen for
Well-
the yellow printer or a perforator? Most of the other ones just aren't worth it, at least in my opinion.
I kind of
Unless I'm
agree with
missing something.
Jay, to be honest, because it's like half of the, maybe more than half, to be honest, of the fucking yellow items are just fucking awful.
that is true.
Very situational. No, I actually agree with
Mhm.
Jay
Well-
that yellow is better than red, or
Yeah.
red
No,
is
red
better
is-
than yellow, whatever the hell it is.
Okay, so going off of this, next one is backup mag. Backup mag, easy A plus tier. It is just adding a secondary charge to your equipment.
And this
Now, or not equipment, but to your
You're right,
secondary.
You're right.
Now, one thing is that the only thing that's preventing it from going higher in most cases is just the fact that there are some characters who do not use it to a good degree. Captain, for one, going off of that. Now, obviously, there's going to be characters of False Sun that just get minimal use for it, even if their secondary abilities are very good. Now, moving on to the Antlers. The Antlers have a potentially very good speed increase, but the issue is not only do you have to change your pathing just to pick it up, but in most cases, your movement speed is most important when you're in combat. So the benefit that you're getting from it, having to actively search these out in the midst of combat where it's most valuable, it is not as useful of a movement speed item as either of the Mocha or the Goat Hoof. And the fact you have to pick it up and the fact it's temporary, I'd say would bring it all the way towards A.
Just doesn't get any use out of it too. Like mercenary, you have to literally rub your ass on the ground.
I'd say that just due to the fact that there's so many ground-bound characters, it go at the bottom of A tier, just off of a concept. Again, it's not off of how good it does in there, it's off of the requirements and what it can do. Now, the energy drink. This is an item that actually will go into A plus tier instead of S tier. The reason being, even though it's worded a bit weird where it seems like it's a multiplier to your sprint speed, it actually is just simply a stronger goat hoof that only applies when you're sprinting. And again, when is movement speed the most important? When you're in combat. So any character that doesn't have agile on their abilities just does not get a benefit from this while they're actively firing, unlike you would with goat hoof. So it's just it's still good because it increases your movement speed while sprinting to a good degree, which is almost always useful. It's just not to the same degree as Goat Hoof or Mocha, where it's just a constant buff towards you. Now, Sticky Bombs.
Yep.
Going off of this, it's one that finally bases off of total damage in terms of proc. So it is by default better than the bleed on most characters. And it does not have a requirement of being close, such as the Focus Crystal or the Warped Echo. So going off of that, it'd probably be an A tier. The only thing is that it does not have any proc coefficient, so it cannot cause any proc loops or proc chains.
Yeah, I
Oh.
actually forgot about that.
Now it does provide small AOE, so that's why it is at A tier with this. Now going off of this for Stun Grenade. It's an effect that has very little use aside from the first few stages, and the scaling on it is horrendous. It does not apply any stack of Deathmark. It should go probably in between Fireworks and Bungus.
Hold up.
It only really works on characters that attack fast and have high proc coefficient, and even then it's not good at actually doing crowd control, which is what it should do. So it's just generally fairly bad. It just both as an item in the game and as a concept. Soldier Syringe, going back, it is an easy S tier.
Yeah, hold on.
Even though not every character is created equal in terms of their value from attack speed is always just a fundamental right underneath.
Really important on
the other.
anything and anyone. But nothing said to be. Okay. Monster Tooth.
Monster Tooth, the main thing is the orbs gravitate towards you, and they actually spawn on enemies that you're attacking, unlike the antlers. And due to the fact that it's a constant source of healing, if you're getting kills, I'd place it in the same tier as the antlers, right around alongside it.
Yeah.
Do you have any debating on that? Because again, it does heal for a percentage of your max health, unlike just a flat value.
Fucking healing.
Key. Okay, here's one thing. It's a great item.
If it works.
And it
gives you something good.
Right, if it gives you something good. Now, the main thing is, it is basically just taking a white item and upgrading it. And moving on to the next stage is... all it is that it's a limiter on how fast it can be used. Having an item upgrade from one tier to the other is sometimes good, sometimes not, but the issue is that this is a key on its own. So let's just say that you replace this with any other white item, especially one from the fundamentals. I would say that this item would be going into B tier. Even though it's a very good item, the concept of upgrading an item from one tier to the other is never really something that you need from a fundamental. So I put it at B tier.
The key?
Hmm?
Yeah. I was thinking more C, but to be fair, I'm not really pushy on that one. Because it's fucking key.
Again, green or...
Yeah,
Red.
I know. You have a chance to get
Okay, War Banner. This is a very funny case. So the War Banner is something that buffs two of the greatest stats in the game. Your attack and movement speed. However, there are two requirements. Number one, leveling up or starting a teleporter. And number two, staying in that small range of the War Banner. Those two requirements drop it horribly, and the value that you could get just from stacking the respective items that boost that, rather than having to try and stack War Banners to get that range increase, is absolutely horrendous. The requirements for the War Banner are so bad that they would be going into the bottom of D tier right alongside the Roll of Pennies.
Yeah. Yeah, it do be.
I'd probably put it on par with Bungus, but
Hold up, my best friend Bungus, we can sit still and jerk off together in Engineer's Turrets.
all right. Now going on to Predatory Instincts. One thing the game does not tell you is this supplies you crit by default. And it gives you a 5% crit. Now, it's only the first stack. But, however, providing you crit, again, equivalent to half a stack of a crit glass, and having another factor where it raises your attack speed on there, therefore letting you get more and more crit stacks, I would put it alongside, just due to the fundamental concept, along there with crit glasses.
Yeah. Yeah, and you just get attack speed with it too.
And due to the fact that I'd say that just as important as healing, go ahead and put Harvester Scythe with it. It provides the same crit bonus.
It just was healing. Alright. Bandolier.
Okay, chance, number 1. On kill, number 2, which isn't bad. To have them drop an item, or drop an item that you have to pick up, number 3,
Yeah, that's
in order to refresh your equipment cooldown. The issue is, while this is a decent item in most cases, the fundamentals that you get from it make it to where if you're playing any character that operates from a range, it becomes a nuisance to try and actually get value out of it. Aside from if you're, hitting wisps overhead. I would say that this is going into the bottom of C tier. Equipment or ability refresh is an amazing thing. It's just the requirements to get it.
Go find it. Hold up. It's so good when I had to run in the middle of a fight to get a little ammo cache to fucking get one skill cooldown. Oh, all my skill cooldown. It's so peak. Instead of just waiting the 2 fucking seconds.
Okay, now going on to Gore's Tome. This item, I personally think is awful in most cases. I understand that it gives you a free small chest if you pick it up, but again, requirements, kill, not much of a factor, but then having to go ahead, chance, number 1, on kill, not a factor, and then having to pick it up, sort of like Bandolier, it makes it a nuisance, and it's also money. So money is always just good, but again, it falls off to a degree that becomes annoying on later runs. To that degree, I'd go ahead and just put it at C tier. It's not as bad as Roll of Pennies, but
yeah, I mean, and
actually no, go.
It just gets worse. I would say it's.
I'm wrong. It's actually D tier. Go below AP rounds.
It just gets worse. You lose value.
No, okay. I'd say that going off that, it'd be definitely above Stun Grenade, but below Fireworks.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with that?
No, not really. I mean,
I like how we said we weren't going to order it in the tiers, but we ended up doing it anyway.
I'm the one who asked that, and then you still did it. You were the one asking me to order it.
Zip, I'm retarded. Okay, anyway.
Uh-huh.
Now, Ukulele. One thing is Ukulele scales with total damage, meaning it scales basically very well across all characters. And it's also just one thing that just contributes to an AoE. I would say that, unlike most proc items, I'd say that Ukulele, just due to the fact that it is just...
that high too.
No, because the stacks actually don't increase the damage, just the amount of enemies. I'd say that it would probably, if I had to say, probably goes to the bottom of A+ tier. I think I agree with you.
Yeah. I don't see like anywhere else it would go. It's really fucking good.
And just, even though they're different items, and ATG is basically a trade-off. It has a lower chance, but it also has a longer range and a higher damage projectile that can proc things such as Kyaros. It also has a higher proc coefficient. Now, Ukulele, I believe, has a proc coefficient of 0.2. Let me double check on that.
Yes, it is 0.2.
Yes, it does. And I believe that ATG has a proc coefficient of 1.
I think you're right. Actually.
Let me check. It does. I would put them as direct side grades to each other.
I love both these items the same fucking way. So just how they function. Yeah, I really can't disagree with you, to be honest.
Again, they both have the potential to start off proc chains, which is why they're very good.
Yeah, obviously one has a lot bigger chance, but at the same time, one shoots that's per rocket, as Ukulele will always split up into 3 different ones.
Correct, and
So
just the fact that it has a higher chance too.
It's the same concept as, like, one shot with 1.0, but 5 shots with 0.5, that shit.
Again, both of them help expand your area of attack, both of them can start proc chains, and both of them are scaled off of total damage, meaning they work well with any character. Just amazing items as a concept overall. Now, Deathmark. Deathmark is one thing. It is a great item. However, the entire thing that brings it down is based off of what this tier list is. It is reliant entirely on other items.
Yep.
And just due to the fact that you would need something like Chronobobble or Bleed or Burning in order to set it off, I would put it probably below Crowbar.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
If I had
would
to
put
say.
it in C tier. I mean, it is a C tier item. It's just it's so reliant on other items. It's like it's nothing that you start a run off of with, and you're just look at it and you're like, oh shit, this is gonna help my run. Because you just have to. There's so much setup to Deathmark. It's not even funny.
Right. Now, on the other hand, it is an amazing item when it works. It's just the fact that this is a fundamentals tier list. Now, going on to Warhorn. Warhorn is dependent not on the character, but on the equipment item that you use, on whether or not you're getting much use from it. The only reason why I wouldn't put it higher is because in order to get a consistent buff from it, you, in a sense, need to have fuel cells. So, and obviously we're not factoring in gesture here. So, going off of that, it's a great item with a great effect for a lot of cases. But without the proper setup, it would probably just be put on the same tier as Deathmark. I'd say one above it, because you at least do get an effect without the setup, as long as you proc it.
It's just you need to have a reliable equipment item that procs constantly.
Correct, and the thing is, you'd be limiting yourself to like Blast Shower or something with a low cooldown in order to do that.
Cool. Or I could just get 500 gestures.
Correct, but that's not what's being factored in here.
No, of course not.
Now, going off of that, Fuel
okay,
Cell.
Yeah.
On its own, it's an amazing equipment item already. Or amazing item already, because it just boosts whatever equipment that you have. It gives it an extra charge and also reduces the cooldown. In a sense, your equipment is more or less your fifth skill. And having it just being able to boost that is something that I would say puts it probably at A+ at the bottom.
Yeah.
Do you have any qualms with that?
It's like I agree, but it's like again, I would say the big problem is it relies on what equipment you get, and you can get locked in with such a shit equipment item, to where its usefulness is very determined on that. It's like
The thing is, it's hard to factor in equipment in this specific list. Is the one
but I
thing,
would
so that's
say
why
you
it is a
have to-
bit niche.
You have to make an exception when it comes to this item, because this item's entire purpose is based off of equipment. You can't just not make an exception for an item that's entire purpose is based off of equipment. I get Warhorn, because Warhorn is just you activate equipment and it's what's it called? You get attack speed. And I understand different equipments have different times. But when you go to Fuel Cell's entire like usefulness and the reason why you would grab it mainly is based off your equipment. And this is excluding the idea of Lysate Cell even existing. So I just feel like
I would still put it in the A tier at the very least.
I would say bottom of A tier. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't.
I'd put it above the I put it above the antlers as a concept.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but it's just I feel like it's very unreliable when it comes to what equipment you get. But sure.
Guillotine.
Ooh.
The guillotine is going to be more consistent than AP rounds, because elites are far more common than bosses, and some bosses can be elites. It is very decent in most cases, and the reason why it has a bit of a higher rating here is because of the fact that it can help with things that require killing elites. Now, well, technically it works inversely with Crowbar, but
Yeah.
regardless. The main thing is it can work well with brain stalks, it can work well with sonorous whispers, just because of the fact it can increase the rate at which you do complete those objectives. Wake of Vultures as well, just stemming on from those. I would say that it is probably the top of B tier. Just due to the fact that it is almost always useful and scales very well as it goes on. Just as a fundamental.
Yeah.
It's essentially just decreasing the HP of enemies.
Yeah, literally, as you go on, more and more enemies lose that HP.
Chance Stall. Now, Chance Stall is an odd case. It is helping with chance shrines. As a fundamental, are you ever going to miss not having this to where you feel crippled without it? No.
No, not really.
And it's not... The main thing is it can actually have a special effect where it gives you a yellow item from a shrine, because it has a unique pool rather than just boosting the item's rarity. The only issue is that you have to stack a fair amount of them oftentimes in order to get a consistent source of those boosts. And overall, it's an item that's okay. I love picking up chance stalls. If you pick up a chance stall on your run, you oftentimes are very happy about it, especially with the amount of chance shrines that you can get. However, it's just never essential to get this item. It's never providing you something that you feel is essential to your gameplay. So I'd put it at the top, probably around Gore's Tome. Just due to the fundamental concept.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, chance item.
Honestly, Zip, go ahead. If you could make a D plus tier, I feel like there should be a D plus that the our AP rounds.
Oh, I flipped. Jump, we do not need another chair.
Or D minus, whatever. Make a D minus.
It would be D. Well, did you say it was better or worse? Well, I guess.
No, make D minus for stun grenade, war banner, that thing.
Okay, hold up. Stun grenade, war banner, bungus, penny. There we go.
Right. Now, prayer beads. The one thing is the requirement is very odd. You have to either scrap or find a 3D printer and hope that it works. However, the exchange is giving a stat boost to basically everything. And just due to the fact that it is conceptually very good in what it gives, regardless of the actual increase itself, I'd say that the only thing holding it back is a requirement as a fundamental, to the point where I put it at the top of B tier. I put it at the top of B tier just due to the fact that the benefits it gives are literally your fundamentals in every way.
I mean, I guess so. You just have to be in a run for a good while to get that, but I understand what you mean. Okay. Mr. Feather.
So, Hapu Feather, while vertical mobility on its own sounds like it's an amazing deal, the issue is you have to factor this in character-specific. What characters actually need vertical mobility? So, Engineer, Captain, they all need vertical mobility to a very good degree. Bandit to a degree, and another thing is that it can help prevent fall damage by just giving you an extra jump. So, you could also consider it an anti-fall damage, which would push it a tier up. However, for its general use, I'd say that due to the fact and the abundance of most characters that already have the ability to negate fall damage by using an ability, or the fact that a lot of characters already have vertical mobility, your use cases are probably going to put this in C tier, and I mean dead in the middle. Probably above that. Above Deathmark. In fact, I actually have to say something. I think I'm going to disagree on Deathmark now. I think Deathmark needs to be moved down to D.
Oh.
Going off of how this tier list works. The requirements are just so reliant on other items that it's not a fundamental.
Fuck you, Deathmark. You suck.
Below AP. I think AP is the gold standard for top of D tier.
Okay. Yeah, I love Deathmark, but Jesus Christ. Yeah, when it comes to this tier list, how much you need to stack on and just how little use it has at the beginning. Yeah.
So, Kiaro and Runald bands.
Garbage.
Jake
can explain how bad these are.
Don't even get me started.
So they scale off of total damage and they have proc coefficients as well. They do AoE. They more or less, as long as you have them on the right character. The only issue I have is that some characters have trouble proccing them off. And the characters that are not able to proc them off with their basic abilities will rely on things such as ATG in order to proc them. So while they have amazing effects, AoE, proc coefficient, they don't have the same reliability as the others across all characters. So I'd say put them in A tier.
I would say like right next to these guys.
I'd say probably put them around gasoline.
Yeah. Because they're not even. Yeah, I would say about there.
I think the fire band's a little bit better, just a little bit.
There you go. I'll move it up
Well,
for you, Jay.
It does a
know, I
little
mean,
more
they-
damage.
It's not about the... Well, actually, hold on. Let me actually check this real quick. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head with proc coefficient.
Well, Storm has to go through his 5 terabytes of gay porn.
Oh, no.
The fire band does a little more damage, but the ice band, instead of that little bit of extra damage, it just slows them, and I don't think that's very good. Well, I mean, I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's better.
Well, slow is probably.
Well, there's another... Okay. No, they do not. They do not have the potential to set up a proc chain. I was wrong. That's why I was double checking.
Stinky.
They do not have the potential to set up a proc chain, and due to that, go ahead and put them with Sticky Bomb.
Damn. I got demoted to Sticky Bomb.
Indeed have. Yeah, I'd say they're on par with Sticky Bomb in terms of fundamental value. Shipping request form.
Free
Literally
item,
rusted key.
Free item.
The only difference is it's going higher because you don't actually have to expend it.
Yeah, and 2 items you get to choose from. That you can see.
Indeed.
Luminous.
Now, Luminous Shot is a very odd effect on its own. You have to use your secondary ability 3 times in order to get a lightning strike on your primary. While that's not that great on its own, there is one thing that makes it very, very good. The first stack of it reduces your secondary cooldown by 20%. And going off of that, just due to that first stack, and not factoring in anything else, I would say that it probably would go to the top of A tier. Or at least near the top.
Yeah, I already put it in A tier because I knew it was going to be good. Because I knew about the status effect that we just found out that it did. The cooldown, what was it, 20%?
Yeah, 20% reduced cooldown on your secondary. Wax Quail. Wax Quail is essentially... It's essentially just a movement speed item. To a degree, I would say that it's probably just a green version of the soda can.
Yeah.
Do you have any disagreements with that? I mean,
No,
it...
not really. Most movement speed items are very easy to rank. They're
Thing is, it gives a burst of speed, unlike the constant speed of the
yeah.
soda can, so it actually can help with evasion a little bit better, because it can throw off enemy targeting a bit more, but overall, I'd say that it's probably just the green equivalent of the soda can. It has more of a requirement, but somewhat better value when being used in that way.
now we got
Okay, now Breaching Fin, the thing that knocks enemies up in the air to make you do more damage to them. It's a good effect, I will not deny that. But this is about fundamentals. It's going to go around it. It's going to be very equivalent to... Honestly, probably bottom of C tier.
Yeah. I mean, not to mention you can't. It's really hard to do it on multiple enemies in a row.
Right. The only thing is, I'd say that it gives more value than AP rounds because it can be used on everything. That's the only reason why I'm putting it there.
Oh yeah. Because AP rounds.
In fact, I'd put it above Bandolier, and in fact, I'd put it below Warhorn.
Yeah. Okay. I guess.
Actually,
Okay.
just because of the fact it's essentially free damage. That's the only reason why. It's
Yeah,
just free damage.
Free damage.
Now, Sailstar. Sail Star is
I mean,
very, very good. Okay, it's a very good item. It's essentially just an extra item every stage, and it can scale off of the highest rarity chest in the map. It is a very good thing. You are always going to buy one chest per stage. You are basically always going to get value out of it once per stage. It is a free item, and overall, I'd say just due to how it works, the fact that it doesn't contribute directly towards a specific stat, I would have to argue that it goes to the bottom of A+. It's harder to rank these with a combat ability, but I think that just it's an amazing value item fundamentally, because it's just essentially an amazing item for just getting items. It's an item getter, a resource item. And I'd say it's the best of the resource items. Probably, yeah, I think it's the best resource item in the game, if I had to say.
yeah.
So, going off of that,
Oh, this piece of shit.
so, Hunter's Harpoon. There's one thing that makes this item very odd. On paper, if we're going off of the fundamentals, this item would be amazing. Because you are constantly getting kills, and you get movement speed. One of the best statuses in the game. However, the issue is specifically on one thing. Even though I don't want to focus on the numbers too much with this fundamental tier list, the issue is that it's so short that it might as well be a non-factor in many cases unless you stack enough of them. To the point where it feels only useful on certain melee characters, especially on Loader. To that degree, just due to the requirement being a non-factor, it is a bit higher, but it's going to have to be in C tier, just due to the fact of how short it is.
Yeah, it's fucking short. You get no value out of it. There's little to no value out of this item, as much as the actual effect itself would be good.
Now, let's go into the conversely horrible thing, the Red Whip. The Red Whip, unlike the Cautious Slug, even though it says outside of combat, the Red Whip actually does not let you attack, or even use attacking abilities, including some that actually give you a burst of speed. It just completely removes it. I would have to put it just below AP rounds. It's basically just, if you had to factor it in, movement speed when there's no enemies around and you're not fighting at all. And you also restrict what abilities you can use if you have multiple abilities that boost your movement speed.
Never fight any enemies in Risk Rain. There is like one enemy in Risk Rain, so very useful.
Again, as mentioned before, movement speed is the most valuable when you're in combat, and that's the reason why Soda Can got nerfed down, a tier. Red Whip takes that to a whole new level. So, going off of this,
Wait, Soda Can?
yeah, Soda Can got moved down a tier earlier. Instead of being S tier, it was A+. Due to the fact that it is limited on how effective it is in combat, due to some characters not having agile.
Yeah, okay.
Now, going off of this, the old Zip Stealth Kit.
Hold up. I love this item.
Yes, the Old War Stealth Zip is essentially a pseudo one-shot protection. It doesn't actually give you OSP. However, whenever you reach OSP, it gives you invisibility and a burst of movement speed. It's useful in the game, especially on certain characters. However, the main thing is it ever going to be something that you feel is essential? Is it ever something that's fundamental? No. And for that reason, it's going to have to go pretty low. I'll let you make a suggestion on where that would be.
I think it would just go in C tier. I don't see any other place. I think that's perfect in C tier for what it does.
Okay, so maybe below the Breaching Fin.
Yeah.
It'd probably go along with max health items.
Yep. Ninja stars.
So, shurikens. The main thing is they scale horribly on characters that don't have direct fire. So, one thing that's interesting is that it works badly and very well with Engineer. Because his primary fire works awfully with it, but his turrets work amazingly with it. Overall, it's just an extra boost to your primary fire, but the only thing dragging it down is the fact that it doesn't work on some characters. So I'd put it in the same thing where it has a base value issue. Almost. Not base value issue, but where it's comparable to just an issue where it scales off of characters very oddly. So I'd put it at probably around the same thing where tri-tips go in this tier list. Or no, I think it's actually better where it is, where it's with Focus Crystal.
Yeah, I think it'd go just right under Focus Crystal.
And actually, just thinking about tri-tips, do you think we placed tri-tips wrongly? Or do you think tri-tips should go with Focus Crystal? So the issue is that Focus Crystal requires being in range or being a melee character. Meanwhile, tri-tips require
Just
fairly high attack speed and high proc coefficient.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like both are as frequent across the characters.
yeah, I mean, you can make an argument that both Focus Crystal and Tri-Tips just feel more effective on the opposite characters. To be fair, I think
Oh, exception is Mercenary.
Yeah, I
but-
think I actually agree. I think.
Yeah, I think tri-tips and Focus Crystal should be the same tier. Right next to each other, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, well, regenerating scrap. I'm going to put this as it's not as it's a resource item. However, the issue is you're not going to get use from it out of every stage like you would the Sail Star. It's not going to get you use out of every stage like the shipping request form either. Even though it's very good. It's a very good item. I see it being directly below the shipping request form in terms of how fundamental value. Are you also struggling to find the shipping request form?
I can't find it. I don't know why I can't see it.
Jay, find it for us.
I found it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Leeching Seas. We talked about it earlier.
Okay, Leeching Seed. On hit, always happening. Healing, something you always want. The low value is something that's a non-factor in this specific tier list. Because of the fact that it's not anything detrimental or something that's inconsistent. It is something that's always happening. And for that reason, just due to that, I'd put it the same, I put it probably just below Harvester Scythe. Just due to the way that this tier list is.
Yeah, and obviously it has a lot more effect on faster firing characters and multi-shot characters, where Captain could essentially heal 8 health per shot.
Right. Now, going for Chrono Bobble.
Chrono Bobble.
It's the only use for this. It doesn't necessarily help because most enemies are going to be hitting you with projectiles. That is the honest truth. The only thing is that it interacts with Deathmark well. I would just have to put this as something sub-AP rounds. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah, just put it at the bottom.
I wouldn't put it as bad as the Red Whip, though.
Okay, well, I don't know why the Red Whip was so high. I'll put it like here. There we go.
The only benefit of Chrono Bobble is that it can help with enemies approaching you, and the other benefit is it can help with Deathmark. And honestly, put it near Deathmark.
There we go. Okay.
Again, fundamentals. Deathmark will be behind it.
I'm back.
Oh yeah, you're right. Now it's time for the funny shield. Me when I run,
Okay,
I just need
Rose
armor.
Rose Buckler. That's armor and not damage reduction like the
Correct,
AP
it
or
is
the
armor.
okay.
It is straight
Just making
armor.
sure. Yep. Okay, now one thing. It is while sprinting.
Correct.
So one thing, armor is always useful, as mentioned before. It's just a flat damage or not flat. It's a percentage damage reduction. To a degree, even though it's not as useful as movement speed, I'd say it's the soda can of the armor world, of the damage reduction world. I would have to put it that if teddy bears are a percentage damage reduction on average, and Rose Buckler is a percentage damage reduction on average, but has to require you sprinting, it's going to probably just be below teddy bear, but not to the degree of being that bad. And honestly, just due to fundamentals, are you sure you don't want to put teddy bear up higher? It is a flat. It's a complete percentage damage reduction on average to the damage you take.
Yeah, but again, I would say it has very little use at low stacks. Like it very much doesn't proc a lot. It's very
Well,
reliant.
okay. One thing is that this is not about the actual stat. If it was about the actual stat, leeching seed would be much lower.
Yeah.
So
But for
honestly,
what
I
it
think that I
does,
might argue for tougher times being higher. I'd at least put it above bolstering lantern. Or not bolstering lantern.
What?
My bad. Luminous shot.
Okay, I would agree a top of A tier. That's what I agree with. All right. Squid turret.
Squid turret.
Hold
Say
on,
that shit
I
the same like
wrong.
chicken. Fucking. We say that like fucking chicken
The
jockey.
chicken jockey.
Squid turret.
Squid turret.
Okay, so it's essentially fireworks, but a distraction instead of damage. It obviously provides damage, but it is essentially just green fireworks.
All right. Oh yeah.
I
The
think I have to
straight-
clarify, this list is not perfect.
What do you mean?
We are expert tier list makers. Okay, Octane. Specifically made to boost the
Ignition
gasoline.
tank Acqui.
Don't care, Octane. So, Ignition Tanks is specifically made to boost a few select amount of items. While it's good, it is, by a fundamental standard, just not going to come into use without other items. And that effect is limited. And it is so specific on the range of items. I'm not going to factor this in very well. It's going to be going along with Bungus. Probably even below it.
Holy shit.
No, it's going to go below Roll of Pennies.
Oh.
I think Octane is a straight bottom of D tier.
Oh.
By the way, I don't know why, but never mind, my bad. Okay, Lepton Daisy. It's the war banner of healing.
Well, at least it'll go like.
Just
a little-
put it with war banner.
It goes above War Banner.
Right. The burst is wider range.
One shot, triangle. Haha.
So free OSP, it also gives you
And
it also gives you a small right. It resets on stage. The only thing is that it also has a little damage and teleportation thing shenanigans that it does, but it's not really that great on doing that. So it's just more like a niche little gimmick that it has. Honestly, the shenanigans can be completely removed from the effect. It gives you a temporary barrier when you're about to die. I'd say that due to the fact it's OSP, I'd put it probably below Opal. I'd say that may be top of B tier.
Okay.
Okay, now Razor Wire. Getting hit, bad requirement. In order to deal damage, it's honestly going to be just going around Chronobobble level.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't.
And
see-
again, one more time, I think we're gonna have to keep on doing it. You're gonna be getting, as a fundamental value, you're gonna be getting more use out of like Squid Turret, Fireworks, and even Chance Stall than you are Deathmark in most cases for fundamentals.
Poor Deathmark is getting obliterated.
He's just getting. We just look at him and he hits us with that skull emoji. Noxious Thorns. Honestly, even though it's a new item, I feel that it is one of the best fundamental items in the game.
Just being
It
able to
gives
yeah.
bleed by default, which sure that's only useful for the character, or only very good on characters that are able to use bleed to a good degree. You know, high speed, high proc.
Immediately moves it over to the next target if killed. So
Correct, and it applies with all other items and or all other things. So, for instance, gasoline, it allows that to spread. It allows for bleed to spread, as mentioned before. It even allows the death. I think it allows the death mark. No, it does not. My bad. Generally, it's a fairly good item in terms of doing that as a fundamental. It's reliant on other items to make good use out of it, which would put it lower. But overall, I'd say that it'd be going top of B, if not bottom of A, just due to the fact it contributes two very good things: a
I think
debuff and a
bottom of
spreader
A
of the
only has
debuff.
two things.
The only thing that prevents me from putting it higher is the fact that it scales off of base damage and not total damage.
Yeah.
So, Berserker's Pauldron. So, what does it do?
When you quit, no.
What? No, crit.
Wrong,
What are you
wrong,
talking about?
Wrong item. Hold up. When you get 4 killing, you get frenzy, and frenzy's very good.
Yep, movement speed, attack speed, war banner, but it requires you to kill
You know,
enemies
it's
instead of
literally
actually
just
staying in
better
range.
War banner, if it were good.
To the degree that it is, I'd say that it doesn't provide any killing potential without getting the kills, but that shouldn't really matter too much. I'd put it to the degree maybe below medkit, or no, no. The requirement isn't constant. The duration is what's turning me off from it.
Yeah. It's about,
Okay, no, I'd say bottom of A plus, bottom of A
okay,
plus.
that makes more sense. I was about to say.
I still disagree. I still disagree. You know, I was looking at the other items and reconsider. I'm still looking at teddy bear and really just debating on that, but whatever.
We will go over it at the end, and then we can make
Okay.
our changes. Let's finish the fucking list before we change it 500 times. We're at the red items. This should
Okay.
go very fast.
Scaling off of fundamental value and only that. Alien head, top. That is all there is to it.
All there
It
is
is
to it. I mean,
Shattering Justice. Okay. Shattering Justice, you have to get 5 hits on the same enemy, so right away, not as good on slow enemies. And the way that enemy armor works is actually exactly how repulsion armor plate armor works. It is only useful on fast attacking characters. In fact, reducing enemy armor is only useful on fast attacking characters in the first place. It does not help with percentage. However, the only thing that makes it good in this regard is that enemies can get negative armor. Meaning if they have 0 armor in the first place and you hit them 100 times, and you hit them 5 times, they get negative 60 armor, so you deal 60 bonus damage per hit. The issue is that it's not fundamental in any way. I would say that it's going to be going down to AP rounds level.
damn.
Above Chrono Bobble, but
I would say above 8.
I think that's-
right. Because it.
because it can. Well, the issue is that at least AP rounds is a percentage on bosses. If you don't get the required stacks of 5 hits on a certain enemy, which some characters can't do, you're not going to get the same value of AP.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm going to go ahead and say Symbiotic Scorpion. Just put it right above Shattering Justice, but it's not that much better.
And Aegis, I mean, Aegis.
Aegis is going into S tier. Or no. So my bad. I was thinking Rejuvenation Rack. My bad. I don't know why I was thinking Rejuvenation
I
Rack.
heard S tier. I was like, what? I'm thinking of the bottom.
No. The bottom. Okay, so it requires healing items, which is a downside. But
Literally
the
can't
only
work without healing items.
the only thing is, yes, it requires healing items. But one thing is that healing items are thankfully fundamental. It doesn't provide healing on its own, unfortunately. However, I would say that it's going to, just based off of it, what's something that it will do? Go ahead and put it at the top of C tier, I would say. Above Hapu.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I could see that. Bazooka. I mean, it's just fucking damage.
Well, it's based off of total damage too, which means that it scales very well on all characters no matter what.
Yeah.
By the way, the one thing that is known about the radius of the explosion, so not only is it free damage, but it's also AoE. So one thing is that just off of a fundamental level, it's going to go probably on par with the ukulele and ATG. The only reason why it doesn't go higher is because it doesn't have its own proc coefficient.
Oh yeah. It doesn't. I forgot.
Correct.
about
The only
that.
thing is that it doesn't have any chance requirement. It is just constant, so
Yeah,
that's why it's
yeah,
going to go on par with those.
Yeah. Growth nectar, just free stats.
Well, no, it has requirements. You have to have buffs.
Oh shit. You're so right. I forgot.
It is the equivalent of Deathmark. It is better, but that's not what this tier list is about.
No shit. You're so right.
But the issue is,
No.
okay, okay, you have requirements. The thing is, prayer beads, you don't need other items in order for prayer beads to be used. You only need a scrapper or a 3D printer. It would have to go below. Honestly, it's probably gonna have to go wrong with Aegis. It requires items like Aegis, and it gives bonuses when you have those items. That are very good bonuses.
I know.
So,
I know. I know.
Sentient Meat Hook is unironically just ukulele.
Yeah, it's just
It
a
is
better version of ukulele.
It is just a better version of ukulele.
Yeah. I end the conversation. Okay.
Yep.
I mean,
This,
come on. I mean, I'm not even joking here. It's like, hold up. Let me just literally fuck fundamentals for a second. I know this tier list is about fundamentals, but let me just remove the fundamentals from the game and just make something better. And then scales off the fundamentals.
well, okay. One thing, that item itself is not does not have it apply to drones. That item is only on you. If you have it, okay.
Another thing we gotta take into consideration. I know Captain's the only one who's able to obtain this.
There's
also another
technically a way you can do it, but
Yes,
don't worry about it.
I know that's not logical though.
Again, we're
He-
just this is an item. This is only about the item itself.
Yeah.
We're going to do it that it deflects one projectile every 0.5 seconds, and it recharges faster with attack speed. So, based off of that, it's better than Teddy Bear.
Easily, because it's guaranteed.
And honestly, most things are attack speed. Probably put it just off of that.
It's very high.
It's somewhere in A+. It's somewhere in A+. That's fair. Right
Yeah,
below
I think
crit
there.
classes.
I think right there's fair.
This. Okay, so here's the issue.
I know.
It's an amazing item.
I know.
However, if you don't have any proc item, it is useless.
Fucking useless.
However, just again, going off of it, when you do have a singular proc item, it scales amazingly. So, I would put it above War... okay. It's going to be going above... No, it's going to be going above Aegis.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say Warband.
No.
And I was gonna explode.
No, it's going above Aegis.
Crit damage.
So, crit damage, that... Unfortunately, that's reliant on an item unless you're... Well, a character that automatically crits. That's the issue.
I would say like here, go with the other ones that are reliant on shit. It's very good, but same
Yep.
thing with the rest of these. They're just reliant.
That's one thing about red items. They're insanely good, but they just have so much requirements for them
Hold
that
up,
they're...
no
literally meant for where they are.
You just kill shit, and then you get
Yeah.
a billion damage. You win the video game. I mean,
Well, it's not. It's not going up there. Again, this isn't about how strong it is. It's
yes, I
just.
know. I like the dagger.
I would say that they have a proc coefficient, which is one thing. I'd put them above Brilliant Behemoth.
I agree. I definitely think it's A plus.
Yeah, you have to pick up drones to make it useful.
I'm sorry. There's no argument there.
Dio's best friend. Okay, here's one thing. This is about the item itself. Okay, and the fundamental. The fundamental of a free life is amazing. The only thing is that if you're talking about fundamentals and comparing them to others, which would you rather have as a fundamental? More movement speed in order to escape having to die, or having something that only works if you die?
Yeah.
I would have to put it below the teddy bear. And I don't know necessarily, it's hard to rank this one in relation to the other A tiers, but one thing I will say, it is definitely in A tier.
Alright. Yeah.
Okay, head stompers. So, one thing about head stompers. This is one thing where this tier list is boosting them up, because of the way this tier list works. It gives you vertical mobility, which, to the degree it gives you, is actually better than the Hapu Feather, and also negates fall damage permanently.
Yeah.
I would have to say, due to the way that this tier list works, it's above 57 Leaf Clover.
Oh God, that's awful. I can't. You seeing 57 leaf in fucking seats here. It's the most painful experience.
Okay, happiest mask. The issue is, again, this is fundamentals. It's never necessary, but what it is that it's something that's easier to do than Squid Turret. Again, it's on kill, which is constant. It is a chance, which brings it down. However, the main thing is it provides distractions regardless of the damage. I would have to say you are going to be getting more use. It has less of a requirement than Warhorn, and it is useful in every character, so it's going to be going above Hapu Feather at the very least. Now, the only thing is, based off of fundamentals, it's going to have to go above all those four right there. Now, which would you... It's going to be going above 57. Now, which would you consider to be more valuable as a fundamental? Distractions or vertical mobility and fall damage reduction, or fall damage cancellation? In my opinion, fall damage cancellation is more valuable than distractions.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, when I can
Okay.
traverse the map with no problems at all.
You know, what's interesting is that at a fundamental value, the reds are fairly clustering themselves up to a decent degree.
Yeah.
Okay, this is basically a...
damage.
Yes, it's honestly, and it's only against the boss, I'd say that it's literally just AP rounds, just with a gold requirement. But it's better. It's better in terms of what it does, but fundamentally, it's literally AP rounds.
Wouldn't it be? Yeah.
Fundamentally, it's AP rounds, because it's just taking percentage of the boss's health off. Yeah. And I know that damage increase is not the same as taking the health off, but it equivalently is making you kill him faster. Okay. Wake of Vultures. So, Wake of Vultures is a very interesting item. Killing an elite is not a hard requirement. So, you know, you could put that requirement around the same as the old guillotine. However, what are you getting are you getting from that requirement? Killing the enemy faster? No, you're getting a status effect that is good. Fire is very good. The freeze is okay. Regenerating is okay. And then you have the chance to get overloading, where you have amazing damage output if you have a fast attacking character. The issue with that is that half your health turns into shield. And thankfully they removed it to where the original Wake of Vultures was awful, because what it used to do is that once your overloading effect ended, your HP would literally just drop immediately. Thankfully they made it replace it as health now, but the issue is during that duration, especially if you chain it, you are essentially picking up 1 billion shield generators. It is better than a shield generator, and the requirement to activate it is easy, but I'm going to have to put it above Symbiotic Scorpion. It's just that the downsides are the thing that drag it down. If it didn't have the overloading effect, it would honestly just be like almost like a Brain Stalks, where it's just free damage in varying ways. But because of that overloading effect, where it messes up your health, it's gotta have to go there.
Yeah.
Just do the fundamental of it.
To be fair, your opinion is basically the one that holds up on this because I barely use this item.
Well, I mean, I use it with Transcendence, and I love the item with Transcendence, but the issue is I know for everybody else who doesn't use it that you obviously know the issues of having half your health as shield.
Of course.
Frost Relic. So, Frost Relic, I'm going to have to honestly put it literally in the same exact degree as the Focus Crystal. Probably one tier lower, just due to fundamental. It's free damage, but the requirements for doing it are on kill, and then the requirements to use it are being in a melee range. Even though it is statistically better than the Focus Crystal, you not only have to be in range of the enemies, but it doesn't affect all the other hits of the enemies. Or it doesn't affect all the other hits of your attacks, and you have to be in melee range to use it, and it requires kills. It's just worse than the Focus Crystal in terms of fundamentals.
Yeah.
Ben's Raincoat. Always useful. Okay, debuffs will be applied to you. That's if you get hit with many things. And it just expels them and assists you when that happens.
I would say that's pretty
No,
fucking good.
Yeah, and it just gives you temporary barrier. Now the thing is, the barrier isn't consistent. It's the debuff that matters, the debuff reduction. You aren't going to be getting as much value of it as you would a teddy bear, though.
So about there, I would say.
I put it above Dio's.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I think Dio's might be lower, but it's so hard to place Dio's that I'm just going to leave it
We'll
there.
figure it out at the end. We'll organize it a bit at the end.
Rejuvenation Rack, S tier, doubling healing always, no matter what.
Yep. Brainstorm.
Yeah, I'd put it there. Brain Stalks requirement killing an elite, so right default that requirement is going to go at where Guillotine is, but the benefit is basically just Supreme Giga Cracked Anal Beads Alien Head.
Mm-hmm.
So due to that, the effect is so good that I'm just going to have to say that it's not useful in every character to the same degree. That it's probably going to be going around the top of A tier.
I'd say about there.
No, top of A tier.
Oh, oops. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say that. It's just that if you don't have a lot of things that work well with it, it's so character specific that Brain Stalks on some characters is not as useful. Just to the simplest degree. Like, for instance, Brain Stalks on the most basic character, Commando. It's good, but it's not changing your game on a character like Mercenary where you are literally invincible.
If you run default build, of course.
Right. Which you should be, but...
Alright, guys, I need my more damage so I can die.
Alright, now Resonance Disc. I believe that's Resonance Disc.
It is, it is.
Resonance Disc... Let me double check. I believe that Resonance Disc is actually base damage. It's based off of... Let me check real quick. Yeah, 300% base damage, because it's not scaled off of the actual attack. It charges it... It's basically a Berserker's Pauldron that shoots off that. Pierces enemies, and then explodes. Is it ever as fundamental as Berserker's Pauldron? No. So number one, it's not going to be going there. It's honestly just an explosion whenever you kill a certain amount of enemies in a burst. to the point where it's more useful than tri-tips on most characters. Sure, it's consistent. It's more useful. I put it on the scale of Warped Echo, to be honest. I know that sounds weird, but I think that it's probably about the same fundamental value.
Yeah.
Okay, Runic Lens, this new item that I've only picked up like 2 times.
Yeah.
So, number 1, it's a chance, a 3% chance. And here's why I think that the Runic Lens is very weird. So, you know how if you're using a high damage character, you want a proc item that uses total damage, right? Like a slow hitting, heavy hitting character, you want something that uses total damage, so it scales off that heavy hitting attack. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's one thing. Every 100% attack damage dealt, so for instance, you have a 300% attack damage, it increases the activation chance by 3%. So 3%, and then if you have 300% attack, that's another 3% times 3, so 12% chance if you have a 300% attack increase. So that's very good. And increases the damage more so by doing that. So that scales very well. But then it uses base damage for some reason as the thing that deals off of it from the attack. It's not bad, but it's just very odd that it uses that. Like, it's something that scales so well off of, that type of damage. You know what? It just scales equally across characters, I would just have to say. Like, because fast-hitting characters, I guess, get the same value to a degree. I don't know. I feel like you would just get the same value if they just put total damage.
Yeah.
And it has a 0.5. It has a 0.5 proc coefficient, but it is an AOE. I would have to say it's. I'm gonna just put it below ATG. Yeah, just put below ATG.
Yeah, I can see that.
Now, the ICBM requires items. So it requires specifically missile items, is the thing. There's... You know where it's going to go is going to go in your Octane. That's the issue. It's good, but it's just so specific. It is so specific that I'm going to put it probably a... I don't know... Do you think that the ICBM or the Octane...
The Octane would be higher than the ICBM. The items if we're going to be realistic here, the items you need for the Octane are way easier obtained than the ones for the ICBM. So you get way more...
ICBM counts fireworks.
Yeah, no.
And the equipment.
Yeah, I know, but what's more fucking useful, fireworks or gasoline? And what's
Yeah,
more reliable?
and the activation requirement, yeah.
Exactly.
No, you're right. Okay, Inukanos. You're always healing, well, at least hopefully. But, however, to get constant healing, to scale it well, you need more healing. So the thing is, it will always work, but it scales better when you actually have other items. But you could say the same thing about attack speed. That, but sticky bombs aren't good until you get enough attack speed. Well, I think that there actually is an argument that it's probably just going to be going alongside... let me look at the actual proc coefficient of Inukanas. So, 10% max health, fire skull that deals 200%, but that's not the thing. Proc coefficient of 0.2. Okay. Going off of this, I'm gonna have to say probably somewhere in A tier. What do you think? Somewhere in high A. Did your mic break?
No, I'm thinking.
Homie is thinking crazy.
Let's say right there.
Yeah, above the luminous shot. I could see that.
And above Dio's.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, go on for the desk plant. The desk plant, on kill, that's easy. It drops a... It's honestly just Monster Tooth. It's honestly just better Monster Tooth. A tier. It's an A tier.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's honestly all it is. It's just better Monster Tooth. Okay, Bottled Chaos. Requires equipment item, which isn't too bad, but are you ever needing to
No,
branch out
no,
the item?
No.
The only thing is, as long as you're not using gesture, you can sort of anticipate when you're going to have yourself turn into a floating ball of fire that runs directly into the enemies that you're firing at. But even still, I would definitely put it probably at the top of F tier. Honestly, why'd you put the drone parts that low? That actually is kind of weird.
He didn't say anything. I just threw him down there.
Yeah, no, well, you at least gain Colonel Drone Man, and he's permanent. He's like a permanent summon.
Uh,
I think drone parts is pretty good.
It is. It's just this is about fundamentals. You need drones. Well, you automatically gain a drone. This is honestly, I think that there should be a certain section that we're going to put beetle guards, the little bebop and gebop that follow you around when you kill the little specters.
yeah.
So, honestly, they're going to be above Squid Turret. So wherever Squid Turret is, it's going to be above that.
It's already above it.
Oh, it's already above it. Distractions are fairly good. Actually, put it with Happiest Mask. Probably below it. Put it below Happiest Mask.
Yeah, because instead of one, it's multiple.
Okay, and honestly, let's just go ahead and do all those same category. Like, go back with Honest Whispers. So, for yellow items, I think there's 2 summons. So there's the empathy cores, the things that look like the little...
This one
all the way to the...
and empathy course.
Yeah, put those both probably around where Colonel Drone Man is. The spare drone parts. And at the same time, that'd be the same thing where Beetle Queen goes. The Queen's Gland. Alright. Now, Sonorous Whispers. Absolutely busted item. However, it is a resource item. And while killing elites and bosses will happen fairly often, and the reward is great, I'd honestly just put it above Sailstar in terms of fundamentals.
Yeah, because it's just Sailstar, but better, essentially. Because you can just get more shit. Well, I guess Sailstar can get you an extra red, so...
Right. Now, Tesla Coil. It's essentially just free damage. That is what Tesla Coil is, and it's AoE. There's absolutely no requirement for it. It just ticks on and off. Like, you literally don't even need to attack. It just fires. Just based off of the fundamental value that you get from it, and the fact it has, I believe, a high proc coefficient. I could be wrong. No, it has a low proc coefficient, 0.3. It feels higher for whatever reason. But,
It's a trillion times.
honestly, I put it below ATG.
Yeah. I'm fine.
It has less requirements, but the thing is, it does tick on and off.
Yeah.
It's just that it doesn't. It's not as core to the game as a lot of other proc chain items.
I feel like I'm playing Gears of War when you hit the perfect reload, because I could just mute my mic the second I rip fucking ass. That's really peak.
Okay. Boomerang. I know you like the item, but it's... I have to say one thing about the boomerang. The boomerang is essentially just it works the same way as the tri-tip, in a way. It's a 15% chance, like it's a percent chance in order to actually do it, and it scales off of base damage. The entire fundamental is it's more damage. That's a percent chance,
What's the
and it
proc
never
coefficient?
increases. The proc
That's
coefficient.
also
Let me look.
important.
Yeah, because that'll choose if it goes above or below 0.2. Wait, no. The initial hit is 1.0, and then the other is 0.2.
When it comes back. So there you go. It hits twice.
Yeah. Going off of that, I'd say put it above tri-tip.
Let's go, my funny fucking boomerang.
Okay. Soulbound Catalyst. Honestly, just why is that low? Soulbound Catalyst should honestly just go right above Fuel Cell. Or honestly, oof.
Sure.
It's gonna go higher than Fuel Cell, like by a good amount. Every kill you get just makes the equipment cooldown lower.
Yeah, because you could. It's just. Yeah. It's just inherently better. How high do we think?
Okay, I'd say that probably above Luminous Shot.
Above Luminous Shot. Okay.
Because some characters just don't have a good secondary fire, so the fact that, equipment, at least you can choose it. Okay, yeah. Hard Light Afterburner, almost every character has a utility they want. And Hard Light Afterburner just gives you 2 extra charges of it and decreases the cooldown. It is fundamentally one of the best items in the game. I don't know where it'd be in S tier, but it is in S tier.
Let's say go like right here.
Yeah.
Shatter
Spleen. Does Shatter Spleen give default crit chance?
Nope, I don't think so.
Yes, it does. 5% crit chance. Same thing with the others. Okay. Okay, it does. Here's one thing. While I would say that it would normally go below both the Harvesters and the Predatory, because it's just replacing the attack speed and the healing with bleed, the issue is the bleeding enemies explode on death, too.
Yep.
So that's also providing AoE.
Yep.
Now, I was going to put it far below the other two because it wasn't as fundamental, but I think it should go literally in the cluster, but just at the bottom of the 3.
Of what?
It's an A+. In the cluster of the 3. Predatory and Harvesters. Just the bottom of those.
You're saying here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And honestly, I'd put Harvesters above Predatory. But anyway, Molten Perforator. I don't know if it scales off of base or total. Total. Okay. So it does ignite, so it's basically better than gasoline, because it is total damage, so it's not like it's, weakened by slow hitting characters. And it does gives the ignite status like gasoline. It's just better than gasoline.
Yep.
I'd say, going off of that, ukulele. It doesn't have the consistency of ukulele nor ATG. The targeting on those is much better. I'd put it above Runic Lens, is what I'd do.
You're moving it up. It's here. All right.
Yeah, just do the fundamental of it.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead and find the electric one. Going off this, let me see if there's anything with that. Okay, so one thing I didn't mention this: the fireballs that the molten perforator spawn have a proc coefficient of 0.7,
Oh
and
damn.
the charge perforator. The issue is the molten perforator spawns 3 magma balls,
Yeah.
which not all of them will hit, obviously, but the charge perforator has only one projectile and it's a proc coefficient of 1, and it doesn't give the ticking fire effect, and it's not really AoE. It's just only the single target. I'd put it pretty low. I'd put it above Sticky Bomb, but it it yeah, above Sticky Bomb because it has proc coefficient, but I don't think it's gonna go that much higher.
Yeah, I see what you mean, especially with all that
It doesn't allow your damage to spread, which I know that's you don't always want your damage to spread. It's a single target thing. Yeah, I'm honestly I'd say that it's going to go. Actually, just put it right above Runic Lens. It's literally just going to go right behind Molten Perforator.
Yeah, I think it's just a slightly less useful one when it comes to that.
Okay, Titanic Neural. Going off of fundamentals, base health increase is not great. However, it is literally just better than the Cautious Slug in terms of fundamentals without taking the stacks into account. In that it's just base regeneration with no requirement at all.
Alright. Genesis loop.
Genesis Loop is...
You when I had to get close to death and then I fucking explode.
Actually, is it... I have one thing. Due to the fact that Rose Buckler has a requirement, go ahead and just put Titanic Neural right below Repulsion Armor Plate. Or even on par. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for it in this list.
Okay.
So, this involves you getting to very low health in order to deal damage. It's honestly just a less consistent, more damaging version of the barbed wire.
It's just, yeah, yeah, that's where I think it should go.
Actually, I unironically think the fireworks should go in between them. that's how different they are. The fireworks should go in between them. Okay, then there's Planula.
Where is
So,
um
well, it's not as good as Medkit. It doesn't do percentage.
I know, I'm seeing where Medkit is. Oh shit, yeah.
Well, here's the one thing. It should go... It's literally just a better repulsion armor plate. Because instead of blocking 5 damage, you heal 15. It's just going to go right above repulsion.
Yeah.
Would you consider the default regeneration and boosted HP better or worse than 15 like reduced damage?
Actually, wouldn't you get more value out of the reduced damage, especially on like fire effects?
No, because it technically is counting as that in a sense. Okay, so like fire effect. If you get ticked one time with fire, and let's say that fire deals, off the top of it, just 20 damage. If you block 5 damage, you still take, 15. If you do that, you just basically heal back 15 and only take 5 each time. It's literally just the same thing almost. The only difference, the reason why Planula, the only difference between Planula's effect and Repulsion Armor Plate's effect is that Planula can scale with Rejuvenation Rack. That's it.
Huh.
Or, well, there is one other thing. It can be affected by Malachites. That is the downside.
Oh yes. I think it's fine with
So-
it, to be honest.
Okay, now the Pearls. So, Pearl increased maximum health by 10%. So, I'd say it's just better than the Bison Steak.
Yeah.
So, we put it in between Infusion and Bison Steak. Or, honestly, it depends on exactly where you're scaling.
What is
On-
the,
on what-
what is
on the
perfect
infusion.
pearl again?
It increases all stats.
That's what it was. Yeah. It's been a bit since I got a perfect pearl.
Yes, let me see specifically which ones it increases. Health, health regen, movement speed, damage, attack speed, crit chance by 10%,
Oh, I didn't know that.
and if you have armor, it multiplies your armor by 10%.
Oh wow.
Honestly, irradiated pearl's going all the way in the top.
I mean,
Like it is just,
it's just,
I mean, it's better than Mocha.
yeah,
It's
it's just
unironically the best thing.
What the fuck?
Okay, mired urn. So the issue is it's melee range basically. You only attack one. It's only one enemy at a time that gets tarred. It is a debuff, but you do get healing. The healing is honestly the only thing that makes this even a factor.
Yeah.
But it's as a fundamental, it's honestly not great. It's going to go below focus crystal at the very least.
Say bottom a B tier.
I agree. I agree with
Let's
that.
see a new place. Little disciples.
When sprinting, you fire tracking wisps. And one thing that is mentioned, you do actually fire them faster if you have higher movement speed. So it is a scaling item based off of movement speed. The only thing is, they do have a range, but it's 40 meters, which is very large. And they have a proc coefficient of 1. So, one thing with this, obviously, as mentioned before, sprinting while you're in combat is something limited to agile. And having this little puffballs spray out while you're fighting isn't really necessary. So already it's going to be dealing with the sprinting thing. I'd put it below Rose Buckler at the very least. I'd say probably somewhere in... Probably right below Warped Echo. No, below Resonance Disc.
Oh yeah. No wait.
There we go. I think that's actually the perfect spot for it.
Oh my god, it's the seed. It's the seed. I would put that in F because realistically, you don't come across that.
Well, F is for things that actively harm you.
Okay, then D. You don't realistically come
Yeah.
over it. I'm sorry. There should be no argument on that.
Yep.
It's not a
Okay.
realistic item. Okay, and the last of the items we're doing corrupted. Okay.
So,
Here's the thing. Okay, first things first. Now, let me explain. This, the fucking safer spaces, is a guaranteed second one-shot protection. No matter what. The only negative effect is it has a 15-second cooldown on default. Obviously, scaling is not bad at all. You can get it down to 5 really fast, but that's not the point. If we're talking about just the item when you first grab it, how useful it is, I think it has more use over the teddy bear at low stacks in general, like if it's just a single item, because it is just a free, it is an extra one-shot protection, nothing attached to it. The only prerequisite is you have to wait for it to come back up. But
the one reason why I'd agree with you, there's one reason why I'd agree with you on it being higher, specifically, and it's actually unrelated to what you're saying. I would actually argue otherwise that Teddy Bear might be above it, but there is one thing, and it's specifically for outside of combat. I know that sounds funny, but specifically for Void Cradles and Shrines of Blood, you can completely negate the effects.
Yeah.
Which just helps a lot in many cases, especially when you have low regeneration. But no, I think that's fine. Okay. Needle Tick. So, what are you thinking about needle tick? One thing we are going to be considering. Okay, this is about void items. Even though we compare them to the original, we're not going to compare them as a replacement. We're going to compare them as if you can get them on their own.
Yeah, of course. I was keeping that in mind.
So one thing is going off of the tri-tips. Again, I'm going to compare them, but not as a replacement. The main thing is that when you have the bleed, honestly, needle tick is an item that's just secondary in most cases a tri-tip if you have a fast attacking character. The issue is that needle tick should, if they wanted to make it a side grade, they should have scaled it off of total damage and made the value a bit lower. I feel like that would have been much better, so that it'd actually be like, okay, this is what you get for a slow attacking character. But instead, it makes it to where it's just maybe slightly better on slow attacking characters, and that's it. Because the thing is, you just can't re-inflict it, obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
Either way, neither of them have a proc coefficient, so...
I would say they just go right next to each other. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, personally, I'd put the other one lower, needle tick lower.
I did.
Okay.
Alright, lens maker as is. Hold up, my favorite item to never pick up. I love not picking up this item.
Okay, so again, we are not going to compare it to the lens makers. That's the only issue.
I know.
So, on its own, it is a 0.5% chance, very low, to instantly kill a non-boss enemy. Now, one thing is that by non-boss enemy, this is not talking about just like, okay, a random beetle queen popped up. No, this is talking about specifically the teleporter boss, like a red health bar type of thing. So, one thing is that with the Lost Seer's lens, it scales like, normally, but it is a very low chance. However, I will say one thing. Well, no, I will say one thing. When I've had like enough stacks of it, obviously you don't stack in the same way as you do lens makers in most cases, but honestly, the only issue I have with it, I think it's a great item on its own if you take lens makers out of the equation and just have it to where it's a random white item that you pick up. I think it's okay. I think if it was ranked based off of power, it would be, like just probably a B plus, off of power type of thing. But I understand that you can argue that it's A or whatever because you can if you get enough stacks in the late game, but by that point you've already broken the game. That's not really a factor.
Yeah. And you
That's one thing a lot of people that make tier lists and with this just suck at is they often say like, oh well, this scales some, and by the point they're talking about, it's at a point where the game has already reached a breaking point. It's so stupid. So with this, the only issue I have is that oftentimes it will interrupt a lot of your like proc effects. I know that sounds stupid, but oftentimes when you start doing a whittling build and you start racking up tons and tons of proc effects, it will just cancel in the middle of it while that enemy is ticking down and about to set off another proc chain. It's on the other hand, it does a lot of damage. I'd say that overall, just off of what it does, it's just a chance to instantly kill. A chance to instantly kill. Honestly, put it right above shurikens. Shurikens are in B tier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see that.
Wongus. Yeah, what? No. Okay, so sprinting, obviously the whole entire thing with that. And it gives you regeneration while you're sprinting. Very good. Personally, the issue is I think in most cases, you're going to get more value from it other than Cautious Slug.
Yeah,
But honestly, I think that's exactly where it should stay.
that's where I
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, and this where is my friend? There he is. There
B.
we go.
Yeah.
Literally should be the same fucking thing. Polyloot.
Okay. Polyloot, it's the single target equivalent of the ukulele. And while that might sound like, okay, so it's a side grade, I would defer because the thing is, generally you want to spread your damage out. And let me check. There might be one factor that I'm missing here. Let me check and see if the proc coefficient is different. Okay, it is exactly the same, except it does less damage. So, and it doesn't spread out. Honestly, it's only better against, like, the final boss. That's, like, the only time that it's better than the ukulele. And yeah, that's if you're wanting to target them specifically. So,
Yeah. I just feel like I'd rather proc my 5 trillion items.
well, and you still proc with it. It's just that it doesn't spread it out across the other enemies. I'd put it below. Honestly, it's charge perforator is where it goes.
Below or above? I would put it below.
Probably on par.
I'll put it in the middle.
Well, 3 hits of 0.2 is less than 1 of 0.1, so put it below par charge.
Oh shit, you're right.
Well, 25%. Honestly, they are direct side grades. I think they are direct side grades.
Find exactly where it is.
Okay.
Singularity.
So, Singularity Band. So, it's a black hole.
Yeah.
It's... The issue is that it has double the recharge time. It's not a bad item on its own if you don't have... Like, if you're just not factoring in the other bands. But it's just a black hole. It's scaled off of total damage. At least I believe it's factored off total damage. Let me make sure it didn't change.
Any higher
Yeah, total
than,
damage.
Than like Frost Relic. Like it should be around here.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. Wait, I'm completely wrong about something. Hold on.
Uh-oh. Storm's fucking wrong.
Okay. It's just kind of inferior. Only thing it has that's an advantage is like some crowd control. Honestly, just put it... It's still based off of total damage, so... I put it on par, like, I put it above Sticky Bomb, so, like, honestly, just right below the other 2 bands.
Okay. I just hate that item. Lysate
It's above
cell.
Sticky.
Lysate cell. Lysate cell. Lysate cell.
Not there.
Oh, hold up. I get to shoot my revolver 10 billion more times.
The issue with Lysate Cell is that you have to factor in how many survivors are useless with it. Basically, every survivor almost uses their utility, but not every survivor uses their special all that much. Especially some characters like Captain is completely useless with Lysate Cell. Like, literally, it is completely useless. And Multi doesn't really use it that much if he's using his default. I mean, there's a lot of characters that just don't use it. That's the only thing. Honestly, I'd put it above Backup Mag. And no, I wouldn't put it below. It reduces the cooldown is the only reason why I'd think that. Backup Mag's an A+. I'm not gonna put Lysate Cell somewhere in A+.
Yeah,
but I don't know where.
It's normal variant, but
I don't know where to put it in A+, though.
I don't know either.
It's just about the fact that how useless it is on many characters that draws me away from it. Because again, this is based off of... Okay, just leave it there. Leave it there, yes. I think that's perfect. Okay. Void Scent Flame. Happens at the start instead of the end. I think that's fine. Whatever.
I
Just
think it's
put it
just
literally right.
preference. I think
Yeah,
it's
just
preference.
side grade.
Because it's like
It
I think it's
scales well with
arguably
some
better than
stuff.
certain like other characters.
Yeah, with Crowbar it scales very
Where
well,
the
but
fuck is the other one? I'm sorry.
it's literally right there. You literally had it right near Kiara and Runon.
Oh. It's just, sorry, it's just a puke splat of colors.
Yeah. Okay. This is just gonna go probably at the top of F tier.
That's a little too high, I think. I think it should go into F minus.
Okay. So, Tintabobble, the root effect. It's a chance. Wait, unlike the. Honestly, I think as a fundamental tier list, it's worse than Chronobobble. Yeah, I think that's exactly where it goes.
Yeah, that hurts. This is literally.
Okay,
It's
so
chaos.
no, listen. So, about this is a fundamentals tier list. The entire thing is about what things are core to your game. Okay? Now, the core thing about Risk of Rain is you want to have your stack of goat hooves, of, soda cans, mochas, your crit glasses. You want to have them all turn into fucking barbed wire in the next thing. You want to have that nice mocha that you're chugging slowly turn into barbed wire trickling around your cock and strangling it. That is what you want from this game. Zip, I need you to make a new tier at the very bottom, name it Binthic Bloom, and make it fucking purple.
Purple.
That's pink.
Purple. Oh,
Name it Binthic Bloom, type it.
What was F colored again? I changed F.
Oh, F, it was colored green, like lime green. Yeah.
Add row below. And then we're gonna add Pentic Boom. Then we're gonna call it.
Boom.
Boom. I was not spelling that. I don't. It takes too much time. Pentic Bloom.
Make
boom.
fucking purple.
Oh yeah. The purple guy. There we are.
There you
Oh,
go.
shit, so
That's- Okay, polyplurant larva. Honestly, extra life, but it corrupts your items. The inconsistency is the only thing that makes it a drawback. I would say just put it at the bottom of A tier, maybe.
I agree.
That's the thing that's well, no, that's summons. The only thing is it can harm you, so put it in F tier. Because again, when they die, their black hole can literally just fucking kill you. Go down.
But there's nothing. We're done.
Oh. Guys, Benthic Bloom is the best item in the game.
The actual thing is upside down. Alright, before we finish,
Yes.
what needs to be changed?
Okay.
'Cause I know you're
Looking through this, I'm gonna go through a random thing. Do you think Crowbar is fundamentally worse than Myrdern? And I mean fundamental concept.
No, I feel that crowbar is a lot more important.
Yes, I agree. I think that the crowbar should go. Honestly, I think the crowbar should go up, probably right above Focus Crystal.
Fuck is focus crystal, am I blind?
B.
Oh. Oh. So you want them here. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Both fucking crowbar and tri-tips went up one. Which I think I feel
I
bad
think-
about.
I think Tri-Tip should go above Frost Relic.
Agreed.
I think the boomerang should go above Frost Relic. I think the needle tick should go above boomerang.
Yeah, I never. Yeah. 'Cause that makes
What?
sense.
No. Actually, I am wrong. The boomerang has proc coefficient. Move. Well,
But
yeah.
then-
Move the boomerang above dagger.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Just
put the
thought- yeah.
Vanguard as a proc coefficient, if that's the case.
Mm-hmm. And we choose the right. Let me close my eyes and like point at a random part of my screen. Shattering Justice. That's exactly where it deserves to be.
Shattering Justice has been in the best spot. I don't think it needs.
I know.
It's just how it would be.
It is. It's just how it be with this type of tier list. All right. Honestly, I think it's fairly decent. I mean, I'm pretty sure we fucked up somewhere, but I'm not about to look through it. I think that it might be pretty good. There is one thing though. Even though Brainstalks is, I guess, better, I think that the teddy bears should be above the Brainstalks.
That would go for both of them. So.
Yep, that would.
Okay. This is the final tier list.
Okay, guys, make sure to like, subscribe. All right, guys.
Your pants.
Thanks.
So epic. Hold up. That was awful.
Okay, guys, we're watching a reaction video. Can you react?
Hold up,
Reacts to our tier
I'm
list.
gonna react to my own tier list. Hold up.
Okay, guys. What the fuck? He's putting the warped echo in me.
Fuck this tier list. Fuck the creators.
Oh, guys, this is okay.
If
Bombing
you
their
say
house
this one more
tonight.
time, I'm fucking killing you. All right. we're
Okay.
done. Bye.